Okay, so the COVID-19 virus has so many people worried about their finances too, what to do with paid family leave, paid sick leave, unemployment. Some people have never done this before. So joining us now is Mark Walczyk. Mark, you have the answers, I hope.
Well, answers are quickly coming, and they're only a phone call away many times. But we're building the airplane in flight in a lot of cases, and many people haven't ever filed for unemployment before, which is a good thing, but certainly need it now. So we're quickly trying to navigate an ever-evolving government in the state of New York right now.
Okay, so some folks, and I always like to try to, let's dumb this down to the most basic level possible. Some might not even know if they qualify for any of these things. How do you know if you qualify for paid sick leave, family leave, or unemployment?
Sure. So the COVID-19 paid sick leave was specifically targeted for anybody who is in isolation or quarantine as a result of the coronavirus, or believes that they could have the coronavirus, or a doctor believes that they could have the coronavirus. So that's when you're sent home from work. It almost, this is legislation that we passed when this thing started. And we were concerned about people in New York who may be sick and need to be quarantined or isolated. We wanted to make sure that they didn't lose their job as a result of contracting the coronavirus and weren't continuing the spread. Not as big moving forward, especially since 100% of non-essential employees in New York are told to stay home anyway. Paid family leave and disability benefits,
Let's back up there for a second really quick. So paid sick leave needs to be determined by a doctor and or employer. That's basically, right?
Right, yeah, essentially, yeah.
Okay.
If you're going to dumb it down, that would be the way to do it.
Okay, because here's the thing. Here's what I've heard and what I'm seeing, on Facebook and all these things, is some people have decided, well, I'm sick, I'm not going into work. You have to get it approved by somebody.
Right. Yeah. Not necessarily. Just in these questions come up. Someone called my office yesterday and asked, I live with someone who is at an at-risk population. I'm deemed essential, but I don't want to work because I'm worried that if I get the coronavirus, I'll bring it home and I'll put somebody else in risk. Paid sick leave is not necessarily for that situation.
Okay, and obviously these are super complex topics, so for more information, people can reach directly right out to you, to your website, to your phone and things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got a link up right now that sort of links to a PDF that's right online, outlines each one of the parameters of each one of these state programs that is of primary interest right now. And okay. I think dumbs it down pretty well. There's a lot of words, but it's only like 9 pages long, which in government, 6 pages maybe, which in government is not that long. So.
Okay, so moving on to paid family leave. What's the difference between paid family leave and paid sick leave, and how do we know if we qualify?
So paid family leave is the disability benefit. Well, let me read it right here, make sure that I get it right. Certain employees can collect paid family leave and disability benefits if they or a dependent child is subject to the order of quarantine or isolation due to COVID-19. So again, if a family member or direct dependent child is sick and believed to have contracted the virus, you would be eligible for paid family leave under that program that was already existing in New York State.
All right, cool. So similar to paid sick leave, just it could be somebody in your household. All right.
Yeah.
Moving right along here. I had a public speaking course once I took in college, and they said if you ever want to lose your audience, talk about science or math. I think we're doing both. Okay, so third thing here is unemployment. Now, people seem to be more familiar with unemployment, but obviously there probably are some different circumstances right now due to COVID.
Yeah, and there's some extra confusion, right? Because and these things will change every day. So if you're watching this video past March 25th, you may get a different answer. Because, for example, federal unemployment benefits, the Families First Coronavirus Response Act was recently passed, but New York is not qualified for those extended benefits yet. So that's where some confusion already lies in the system, right? If New York State does qualify for the federal extended benefits, then New Yorkers don't need to do anything. New York State Department of Labor will post additional information as it becomes available. But right now, you can't necessarily call the Department of Labor's unemployment hotline with questions about the federal extended benefits because New York State isn't qualifying for them yet. New York State is waiving the 7-day waiting period for unemployment insurance. Already qualify under New York's current unemployment insurance laws for people who are out of work due to the coronavirus closures or quarantines. So that's where if you've been shut down, you've been, and first, I think every New Yorker is essential, but if you're deemed or labeled non-essential right now as an employee, you would qualify for New York State unemployment insurance.
Okay, so there's kind of the overlaying thing. Now, we didn't plan to talk about this in this interview, but something I was listening to the news is I think more than ever now, because I think everybody kind of is, we're just nervous, we should be listening to it. Something we're hearing over and over and over again is, well, the economy is not going to do well because of this. And so, and we don't have to go into details. Again, I don't want to talk about too much math here, but I'm going to talk about an example really quick. So do you remember like a couple months ago, there was somebody on a plane that got like drug off the plane, and the next day in the stock market, I forget which company it was, like United or something, they lost like billions of dollars because people weren't so people, that was kind of like how emotion kind of took into play with the stock market. And I think that's kind of where it is right now too. We're seeing these stock numbers go all over the place because people are scared. So they're not purchasing things, and then the stock market goes down. But that gets also confusing, right? And so what does that mean for like us every day living in the North Country? When we're hearing that the economy is going to be bad, what does it mean going forward for us? Or should we be planning to be filing for these unemployment things? What precautions should we be taking financially? We know that we should be washing our hands and that we should be social distancing, but what financial precautions should we be taking?
Yeah, I wish I had a crystal ball for everybody's financial situation, sometimes my own household. But certainly I think the North Country is resilient and going to rebound. I think as soon as we've seen the curve flatten out, you're probably going to see the stock market start to rebound. And when we're on the other end of the curve and there's a little bit more certainty, people will be investing again. I think taking this economic pause right now, and there was also the thing floated out there that you don't want to talk about the economics when people's lives are. I understand that sentiment, but at the same time, there's a rate of death for poverty. So economics really needs to be a consideration as we're moving forward and we're planning. And they're talking about putting together a New York State budget right now. And we need to make sure that that's a responsible budget that's going to put us on a good economic footing to move New York forward in the future. Personally, I think that Northern New York is resilient. I'm hopeful that we've seen the back end of this curve by the time our tourism season hits, and that we all have a great summer together, and it's cool to high five and handshake and hug each other like we love to again. But right now we're in a crisis. There's a lot of uncertain times, and there's a lot of unprecedented things, and it's difficult. I know, especially for the planners out there, it's difficult to say, what should I be doing next week or preparing for later this year? And we've seen that from the grocery stores to what is going on in the stock market. It's tough. It's got people really concerned.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I couldn't say it better myself, and I appreciate you taking the time. How are you and Jess and everybody holding up? Okay. What are you?
Good. The phone lines in my office, Alex, have been blowing up. Obviously, when government moves this quickly, there's a lot of questions. There's not answers for everything, but I've got a great staff, and they run things down. 315-786-0284 here in the state office building is the best way to reach us. I'm also trying to put out as much factual and pertinent information on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff as possible. But it's tough when things are quickly evolving, and I want to make sure that things are factual.
Well, thanks for keeping things clear, or as clear as you can for us. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy as ever right now. If there's anything that you want to tell folks, make sure that you reach out to us again. We appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right.